Hello and welcome back to Look Movie Recaps. Today, we are going to recap a 2023 movie titled Fear the Night. Please be advised that there will be spoilers ahead. In the opening scene, we are introduced to Tess looking for something in the attic when her older sister Beth enters and chastises her for digging through her home. Tess convinces Beth she is not going to steal her wine collection, allowing her to calm down. We learn that the sisters are not on good terms. Later, Tess meets Beth's pals, Bridget and Dava. They congratulate Tess on her 6-month sobriety. Tess dislikes that Beth has informed them of this. We now find that the girls are attending their youngest sister Rose's bachelorette party on their parents' property in the middle of the village. Tess assumed the two would drive alone, but Beth invited her friends to join them. Tess informs Beth that she dislikes everyone in the world, and the sisters engage in another ego struggle. On the route, the four girls come across their other two high school pals, Esther and Mia, in a store. They quickly receive dirty comments from 3 disgusting males, and attempt to escape them until Tess comes. Tess maintains her cool as the 2 females leave and responds to the men. She asks one of the men to take off the army headgear if he did not serve. The second man, Perry, mentions that he has served, but Tess dismisses his 86-day service and discloses that she has been in a war, which is the true service. Outside, she scrapes the men's car and drives away. At the property, they meet their younger sister Rose and her friend NL. Tess is wary of the new caretakers, and despite Beth's encouragement, she sneaks inside their shed to learn more about them. She hides under the bed as the men come and overhears them discussing something important they've been planning for a long time and must complete tonight. One of the caregivers receives Beth's call and asks if he has seen Tess, but he replies he hasn't. As soon as he hangs up the phone, his charming manner turns to irritation with Beth. Tess returns to the house and discovers a man in the kitchen. He presents himself as the chef, but Tess begins to question him, feeling strange that she was unaware he was coming. Beth then arrives and requests to speak with Tess. After the chef leaves, Beth loses her cool with Tess, accusing her of attempting to ruin their sister's day. She wants Tess to be a little less controlled and seem to care about Rose's enjoyment. Tess tries to tell Beth about her concerns about the caretakers, but Beth becomes enraged when she discovers that Tess went into their home just because she was suspicious. She tells her that she called her parents and discovered that the new guys were employed not long ago. Tess asks how she called since there is no service, and Beth furiously tells her that they can get a signal by leaning out the bedroom window. This is how we discover there are no signals. Later that night, the girls watch the chef's show as he is also a stripper. While Tess rests on her porch, Rose comes out seeking Tess and has a heart-to-heart with her like the loving sister she is. Tess apologizes for not wanting to ruin her night, and Rose says she is glad Tess is here. Just then, an arrow strikes Rose in the chest, leaving Beth to scream in disbelief. Rose is swiftly dragged inside as the arrows continue to fly towards them. Tess encourages Beth to dial 911 through the window, but she is too frightened to move. Esther offers to call instead and heads upstairs with the phone. The chef begins to console the women, but the arrow quickly strikes him. The girls become distressed, and Tess comforts them as a car approaches the house. She urges everyone to lock all doors and turn out all lights. After they've finished, Tess instructs everyone to keep attempting to phone 911, but Davia is becoming increasingly agitated as she quizzes Tess as if she knows all the answers. Tess instructs all of the girls to gather everything around the house to use as a weapon. She glances out the window and sees a man cutting their tires. She instructs Davia to lock the door behind her, indicating that she will knock twice and then want to communicate that it is her. She is not supposed to open the door for any other knocks. Tess walks outside and effortlessly murders the guy who was slicing their car tires before returning inside. All the sharp things in the house have been collected by the girls. She hands everyone a weapon and asks them to be prepared to use it. Beth says she is afraid because all she wants to do is go home and see her daughter. Tess reassures her that she will see them again and apologizes for constantly clashing with her, but Beth claims it is always her fault, and they reconcile. Tess then walks upstairs to check on Esther and discovers her body in the window. Downstairs, she tells everyone about Esther and encourages them to stay inside the house since they are safe. Davia does not trust Tess and begins blaming her for Esther, claiming she put her upstairs knowing it was harmful. Everyone tells Davia to stop talking, and Tess urges her to take the lead and explain how they can live because she has such a big mouth. A man from outside asks them how their party is going. Tess lies and claims they phoned the police, but the man admits he knows they don't have a signal. He allows them to come outside and flee to safety so that his men can enter and begin searching for what they seek. Otherwise, he promises that he will make them suffer. The other girls think they should believe him, but Tess and Beth assure them that there is nothing essential in the house. Tess thinks the man is manipulating them into coming out. Beth yells that they don't have anything in the house, and the man proposes they open the door so the men can check around and ensure she's telling the truth. Tess recognizes the voice as Perry, the trouble man from the store. The girls inquire as to what Tess did to persuade them to accompany her here. They beg Tess to apologize to them so that this can be resolved, but Tess does not believe they are forgiving. Davia becomes irritable again, noting that they should not trust Tess. Bridget then asks Tess to help them because she is the soldier person, but Mia and Beth tell her to stop being such a bee. Perry proclaims that the time has passed and he will now make them suffer. A bit later, Perry's pal approaches him and informs him that Tess has slain one of their friends. Perry becomes outraged when he realizes it was Tess, the army girl, and claims that he was only trying to terrify them, but now he's going to make them pay. His companion is afraid and says they should go because they have enough meth to sell from the Guardians, but Perry says he's been planning this for 6 months and there's plenty of cash inside the house, so they'll get it done. Inside, Davia suggests that they all flee at once in the hopes that some of them may survive rather than waiting for the males to enter and kill them. Tess believes it will work, but the other girls doubt they can run that far. Tess then explains that one of them needs to go to the caretaker's house where she noticed a landline phone. They must also distract the men outside as bait, allowing Tess to rush to the neighboring shed where her father used to keep his rifle. Mia volunteers to run as bait, stating that she ran track in college. Everyone gives Mia a sorrowful farewell, hoping she survives. She removes the chef's sneakers and admits that she has had a crush on Tess for a long time but has never had the courage to ask her out. She exits the house, calls out to the males, and rushes away. She arrives at the caretaker's home and attempts to call 911, but the phone line does not work. Just then, another masked man appears, but Mia attacks him multiple times with an item before fleeing. Tess also heads to the shed after reminding Davia to only open the door for her. She discovers the caregivers tied up in the shed, their heads wrapped in plastic, but one of them is still alive. Tess questions him about what is going on. The caretaker tells her that those men discovered the money stored in the residence, which they obtained by selling illegal products. She unties him, saying he will help her save her comrades. She goes to get the gun and finds the cupboard empty. The caretaker reveals himself to be a coward as he decides to flee, only to be killed in the process by another masked man. The man accuses Tess of killing his friend and tells her to flee if she doesn't want to die. Tess claims that she does not run and ends up killing him as well. She grabs an axe to save her friends. Meanwhile, in the house, Davia hears a knock and hurries to open the door, ignoring everyone's reminders about Tess's knock pattern. She still opens the door just wide enough to be struck by an arrow. The men batter down the door while the other females scatter around the home, only to be apprehended one by one. Bridget begs Perry to spare them because she is not the one who insulted him, blaming it all on Tess, but Perry murders her first. He asks the other girls to remain silent and instructs his 2 remaining guys to keep an eye on them while he retrieves the money from the attic. Tess slips inside the house and signals Noel, who begins tormenting one of the guys. After seeing a knife near her feet, she drops to her knees to taunt him even more, and when Tess gives her the signal, she uses the knife on the male just as Tess attacks the other one. The 2 females pounce on the man to finish him off, and Tess urges them to flee as she heads upstairs to confront Perry. She tells him that this is the last one remaining, and Perry offers her the opportunity to flee and leave him alone. But Tess refuses, stating that she would rather murder him. They fight, but Tess clearly wins and kills him. Tess is currently being interviewed by a sheriff in the presence of her lawyer. The sheriff refuses to believe what happened, but Tess continues to tell her narrative regardless of his ignorance. He tells her about the impending lawsuits, and Tess exits the office. She greets Beth and Noel outside and gives them hugs before leaving. She scratches the sheriff's car and then drives away with Mia, holding Tess's hand as the film concludes. Thank you for watching. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe for more recaps. Until next time, have a nice day.